Let's come, we'll have a seat. And before we become still, let's actually move a little bit. And even before we do that, if you're finding either the knees are really high or the pelvis is rocking back, go get something to sit on so that you're a little higher up, and that'll allow the pelvis to come into more of a neutral. Yeah, all right. So once you have your seat figured out, let's just take a little forward back, kind of a cat-cow. And if you want to make it really big and kind of an exaggerated movement, of course, that's fine. Or you can keep it kind of small if you prefer. Yeah, and then we'll pause here and change. Instead of a forward back, let's take a few circles. Just give yourself a little stir. And then let's take the circles the other direction. Great. And then we'll pause, just returning to center. And let's take the hands here right on the top of the pelvis, and you'll just give yourself a tiny little tilt forward back, not as much as we were doing before. And really here, trying to feel actually the bottom of the pelvis, sitting bones, and find a place where you're just either right at the edge of them or a tiny bit forward. Yeah, and then let's keep that. Let the hands rest somewhere on the legs, let the eyes close if that feels okay. And think about relaxing the face, forehead, the muscles around the eyes, the cheeks, the jaw. And just take a few easy breaths. And as we continue to breathe here, just begin to notice the way the body expands as you inhale and condenses back in as you exhale. Just take a few more breaths like that. And now on the exhales, in a very gradual way, can you start to narrow in all sides of the waist coming in towards the midline. And then when you inhale, let it be a gradual releasing of that. So on every exhale, the sides draw in, the front and the back move closer to each other. And then on the inhale, let it go. Let's take one more breath with that in mind. Yeah, and then let it go. If the eyes are closed, you can blink the eyes open. And then let's take the arms out and up and really grow tall and long. And see if you can relax a little right at the inner part of the shoulder without letting the arms drop down. Yeah, inhale here. And on the exhale, find that same condensing all sides of the waist in toward the midline, creating a little tone. Yeah, let's let that go. Now, if you feel good to interlace the fingers, do and press the palms up. If that doesn't feel good, just keep the hands separated. And we'll go for a little side bend to the right. Yeah, let's come up and go to the left. And then we'll come back up to the center here. Release the arms and just do a little, any kind of movement in the arms and the shoulders. And you might already have it this way. Let's have the right shin in front and the left shin behind. And we'll do the other in a second. And we'll take a little bit of breath movement coordination. So let's inhale the arms up. And then as you exhale, condense through the abdomen. We'll slice the right arm down and back, turn the chest to the right, and we open to the side. And then on the inhale, we'll unslice and return to center. Do that 2 more times on the same side. A-okay to have a little bend in the elbows. That might make it more comfortable. Great. I'm about to sneeze, so just that might happen. All right, let's actually take one more, and this time we'll take the front hand to so that'll be left hand to right knee, right hand behind. Press down through the back hand, sit up tall, and then just turn your face to look forward, and we'll reach the right arm up and over. So here we are in the diagonal. And within this position, it might feel interesting to move your head. You could either look down, or you could try looking up, or you could try bringing the chin in towards your chest. So take whatever you like. Yeah. And then when it's time to come up, we'll give the leg a little tug. Up we come to center, we'll unwind. And then let's put the left one in front and do the same thing on side two. So we'll inhale the arms up. Stay for the exhale, hug in through the waist. Inhale, we let it go, find a little lift. And exhale, let's find that same hug in. Left arm slices down and back, and we open to a twist. Inhale to return to center. And let's do that 2 more times. The exhale, we condense through the middle and we turn. And inhale, we lift. And the last one, let's stay. And then put the right hand to the left leg, left arm behind. Press the back hand down as we sit up tall. And then turn your face to look forward. Let's take the back arm, reach first up and then over. So it's diagonal side bend here. Yeah. And then give the leg a little pull to come back up to center. Unwind out of the twist. Fingers on the front of the shoulders and just make a few little winks, circles. Good. And let's do one just brief neck stretch here. Take the arms out, fingertips to the floor, collarbones broad, and just tip the right ear towards the right shoulder. Stay there on the side and bring the chin a little towards the chest. Yeah, let's undo, returning to center, other side. And then chin in towards the chest on the same side. And we'll undo, reset the head back to center, stretch the legs out long, and just in a very lazy way, let them jump, basana, yeah, just little jiggles. Alrighty, friends. And then let's take some foot circles. Go out through the ankles, go a couple times one way, a couple times the other way. Yeah. All right. So let's turn over. We'll come to all fours position. Of course, feel free to have padding for the knees. You need extra squish. Yeah. And then for the moment, let's actually just move any way that you want to. So for me, that's usually side bends or circles. For you, that might be circles or cat-cow. You can make a figure 8 pattern. Yeah. Just start to notice where the nooks and crannies are, where the tight spots are in the spine. Yeah. And then we'll pause here, go back to child's pose. Feel free to go a little wider in the knees if you like. And then we'll go onto your fingertips for a second and give the mat a little scrunch. So the palms of the hands lift, the wrists lift. You can either keep the hands like this or you could go flat, and we'll walk both arms a little over to the right side. Yeah, and then let's go to the left side. Now from here, we'll come back to center, and if the knees went wide, bring them in a little bit, even if you don't go all the way down. Walk the arms out as far as you can, press into the floor. Let's round up first, coming through cat pose. Stay round as long as you can. We come forward, forward, forward until you can't be round anymore. And then the head lifts, the chest draws forward. Elbows will bend and the lower down on the belly. We'll stay down here. Lift the front of the shoulders a little bit away from the floor, and let's take some slithers. One side does a roll, other side does a roll. Back and forth, back and forth. Yeah. And then from here, we'll pause. Keep the front of the shoulders lifted away from the floor. And don't move your hands. Try to pull the hands toward the feet. Pull the chest forward. We come up into cobra. Press down into the floor. Lift the belly. Round yourself. And back to child's pose we go. If you want to have toes tucked under, that's fine. So we'll take that same pattern a few more times with, we'll change it a little at the bottom. Press into the floor, round, round, round. Stay around as long as you can as you come forward until you can't anymore. And then the elbows bend, we lower down to the belly. Now for this version of Cobra, let's take the hands off the floor. You're on your fingertips, elbows are lifted, fingers point off to the sides. And it's kind of a rolling Cobra. So as you come up, take a gradual approach to come up and then gradual to come down. Now you choose if you want to keep it pretty small. We'll demonstrate that. If it's feeling good and you want to go higher, we'll demonstrate that. Yeah. And if something in the middle feels like a better choice, stick with that. All right, let's reset. Hands come down. Pull the hands back without moving them as the chest comes forward. We lift. And then go back again to child's pose. Arms stay forward. Yeah. And then crawl the arms as far forward as you can, around the back. Stay round, round, round as long as you can. And then eventually, you'll unravel, the elbows will bend, we're down on the belly. This time, just peel up for one Cobra, good old-fashioned Cobra, big or small, your choice. Go back, have the toes tucked under this time, and then go up onto your fingertips like we did a second ago. Stay like this, and can you also lift the center of the armpit away from the floor? Tiny little bend in the elbows and rotate the arms so the outer part of the shoulder turns down. The elbow tips turn in a little bit. Keep that. Let's let the hands down. Lift the knees up off the floor. Press the mat down and forward with your hands, sending the hips up and back. And then slowly here, let's start to re-lengthen the legs. Downward dog. If you're anything like me, they're super duper tight. It might feel good to pedal a little bit. It might feel good to shift the hips a bit from side to side. You might add in a little rotation or a little twist in the spine. Yeah, take whatever you need here. And then we'll separate your feet, wide stance, bend the knees, walk your arms back, and just prop up for a sec with forearms to thighs. Feel free to wiggle the fingers, circle the wrists, whatever you want to do there. When you are ready to come up, we'll press down through the heels. Use that to come all the way up and stand. And then we'll take the arms down. Yes, friends. So let's stay in this kind of wide position. Bend the knees and just wiggle around for a second. Yeah. And then I'll mirror you here. Let's pause. Take the arms out and up, and then use the right hand to grasp the left forearm. Pull up and over. So we take a little side bend to the right. And notice how it feels different when you actively press the left foot into the floor. Do that. Yeah. Good. And then let's go to the other side. So we pull up and over, pressing the right foot down into the floor. And then we'll do the same thing with a slightly different arm position. Take the left hand so the palm is forward and then take it up and grasp the forearm from here. We pull up and over again to the right. Just a different rotation in the shoulder. Still press down through the left foot. Good. Up we come, changing sides. We go up and over. Palm of the hand is facing up towards the ceiling. Great. All right, let's release that. Undo the arms. Take the legs, bring the feet just right underneath you here. Take some hula hoops. Hula hoop asana. Yeah, go the other direction. Alrighty, friends. So let's meet at the back of the mat. I think you're already there. And just realign yourself. Make sure there's a little space between the feet. The toes are pointing straight ahead. And then let's press down through the heels. Inhale the arms up. Stay there for the exhale. And find that narrowing in effect. All sides of the waist hugging to the midline. And you might shift back a tiny bit. Inhale, we let it go. Stand up tall. Exhale, down we come, forward fold. You can bend the knees as much as you need to here. Let's take our halfway lift. And then from here, friends, we'll head to plank pose. If you'd rather do all fours position or plank on the knees or plank on the elbows, do what you'd like to do for this first one. Once you're in your setup, can you broaden the collarbones? Take a breath in, and on the exhale, find that narrow the waist idea. Hug in all sides, in towards the midline. Yeah, let's stay here. Breathe as you need to breathe. If you have straight legs, bend the knees tiny bit. If you have straight arms, bend the elbows tiny bit. And then if you've done that, turn the elbow tips back towards the knees. Yeah, we'll just stay here. It makes the plank a little more exciting. Keep the head in line with the rest of the spine. So we don't want to droop the head, nor do we want to lift it too much. It's just right in line with the spine. Slowly here, we'll set the knees down. Come all the way down to the belly. And then we'll take a little break, stack the hands, and rest your forehead down, and just give the hips a little wiggle. Go back and forth. Yeah, you can lengthen the legs back one at a time, back and down. All right, yogis. Now from here, let's lift both legs off the floor, but as you do so, think of lifting from the inner line of the leg, and that means they won't go up as high. Draw back through the toes, which also means they won't go up too high. Yeah. Think of a lengthening rather than so much of a lift. And then come down, and let's add in the upper body. We'll do the upper body first. Slide the hands a little forward, elbows in a bit. Press down and draw back through the arms as the chest comes forward to lift. If you'd like to add the legs, draw the legs back and up. Yeah, so if you're feeling any sort of pinch in the low back, take the arms further forward and go a little lower. Good. All right, down we come. Take a little wobble. And then we'll press back, take a brief child's pose, and then come back to hands and knees, all fours position. All right, and then we'll reset, all fours, hands and knees. Take your right leg back, broaden the collarbones, inhale. On the exhale, we hover the left leg just barely up off the floor. Try not to round the back. And on the inhale, set the leg down. 2 more times, and it's tiny. Find that hug in through the waist. Use your belly to lift the leg. And down we go. And last one, tiny, tiny lift. That's it, down we come. Pivot the left foot a little left. The right heel to the floor, the chest to the right arm up to the sky. And here we are. Now, some of you will stay here. And if that's you, press down through the sole of the right foot. Some of you will lift the right leg up. And if that's you, press out through the sole of the foot and try to lift up. And then some of you will bend the top knee and hold on to the ankle. And if that one's you, try to send the knee towards the back edge of the mat and keep the low belly engaged. Good. All right, so we're all going to join our friends with the foot on the floor. Let's release. Foot on the floor, and then let the body take a little side bend, little arc, but don't collapse into it, yeah? So we want to stay long and keep integrity on both sides. When you're done, set the hand down, set the knee down, just a quickie child's pose. And let's take spider fingers and give a little scrunch action to reset the the wrist, the forearms after that. Okay, same thing side two. So we'll reset. Left leg reaches back, toes tucked under. Broaden the collarbones. Inhale. And then on the exhale, we press and hover the right leg just barely up off the floor. And then on the inhale, we set it back down. Do that 2 more times. So the exhale is when we lift. And the inhale is when we come down. Only 1 more to go. They're small but mighty. That's it. And then we're down. Take the right foot a little right, left heel to the floor. Chest turns open, left arm lifts. And here we are. If you're keeping the foot on the floor, press it down into the floor. If you're lifting it up, lift it up and press out through the sole of the foot and try to lift as high as you can as you're pressing outward. And if you're adding in the knee bend, then the knee grasp the ankle or the lower part of the shin. Yeah, and if you have that, direct the tip of the knee towards the back of the mat and keep a little engagement through the low belly. Yes, friends. Let's join our friends with the foot on the floor. Release the leg. Press into the sole of the foot. Let your spine arc over. The top arm comes over. A little side bend. And then down comes the hand. Down comes the knee. Child's pose again. Spider fingers in the hands. Little wiggles if you like. Okay, friends. And then we'll head back into downward facing dog pose. Take your time to get there. We'll add in a little extra stuff once you're in position. Slight bend in the knees, and then at the tops of the thighs, press wide. Counter that, think of the outer shins hugging in towards the center. Yeah, and then re-lengthen the legs. A-okay if they don't go all the way straight, and for most of us, the heels will be a little off of the floor. Yeah. All right, this time let's come to the front of the mat, so feet look forward. Bend the knees a little, press into your heels. Use the inhale to grow tall. And the exhale to set the arms down. Nice job, guys. Let's take some hula hoops here, circling out the hips. Let there be a slight little bend in the knees. And then we go the other direction. Yeah. All right. So for our next sequence, we'll be doing some lunges with the knee down. And if you need padding for that, have it ready. If you like blocks for your hands, have them ready on the sides. And I'll face you for a second, but we can just face the front of the mat here. Keep your feet a little bit apart. Let's take the arms up, inhale. And on the exhale, hug in through the waist. Find that tone through the core of the body. Inhale, we let it go a little bit. And then on the exhale, find it again. Let's bend the knees, take the hands to prayer. And we're in a Utkatasana, but not too low. Take the hands here on the top of the pelvis and do a little mini cat-cow tilt. Yeah, notice if you have a tendency to be always in one position or always in the other, and try to find the middle here. And then gently, let's put the fingers like this and stick them in the hip creases and use that to help deepen the position. Yeah, great. Stay here, hands come back to prayer. Without going anywhere, press your heels down into the mat and try to press them outward away from each other, which should turn on a little through the side here, creating a little stability. Let's inhale. On the exhale, continue to press into the heels as you forward fold, lifting the hips. Inhale as a half lift, move the chest forward. And then on our exhale, let's come down, step the right leg back, knee down to the floor. Yeah. Alrighty, yogis. So, it's your choice if the toes are straight back or if the toes are tucked under. Let's come up for a second, just hands again on the top of the pelvis. And if your toes are straight back, press down through the center of the shin. And if they're not, ignore that part. And everybody lift up a little through the low belly. Let's take the arms up. Inhale. On the exhale, slice the left arm forward, down, and back. Turn the chest to the left. Elbows can be a little bent. Inhale to undo, and we face the front. Let's do that 2 more times, the same exact thing. Yeah. Great. And then from here, let's pause. Take the arms down, hands to the floor or to the blocks. Pivot the right foot a little to the left, just a little. So that'll mean the torso goes to the right. Bring the left forearm to left thigh, right hand just on the hip or on the waist here. And now on this left side, very gently press leg and arm into each other, and you might get a little stretch on the inner thigh. And then without changing what's going on in the front leg, see if you can turn your ribs towards the ceiling. Yeah? Let's take the right arm back and then just do a little slice down and then out. So the arm ends up in line with the rest, the side of the body. Yeah, so it's kind of like side angle, but we've got the knee down. And we're still adding that little bit of pressure, left arm and left leg. Good, let's look down to the floor. Release the arms. Reset the back foot so it's straight behind the knee. Take a couple rounds here if you want to bend and straighten or just anything you need to kind of release. Yeah. And then we'll do one more thing on this side. My favorite, latest favorite version of lunge. Pause at the front knee bend. Tuck the back toes under and lift the back knee. And then we'll find this extra hip strength here. Take left hand to the side of the thigh and press leg and hand into each other. Draw back through the pelvis, forward through the chest, elongate the torso, and this might be enough, or you might stretch the right arm back. That might be enough, or you can take the right arm forward and out on the diagonal. If you're there, have the thumb facing up. That's it. And then let's come down. I'm going to take plank on the blocks. If you don't want to do that, you do regular plank. But let's come into your version, wherever that could be. Collarbones broaden. On the exhale, toe in through the belly, find a little lift. And then just like we did last time, if the legs are straight, little bent. If the elbows are straight, little bent. Turn the elbow tips back towards the knee tips. And then try to pull the knees a little forward towards the elbows. Yeah. Now, if anybody is not on the blocks, you'll go to downward dog. Everybody else, let's re-lengthen, step the legs forward, and then we're all in the same place. Forward fold. Press into the heels. Use the inhale to rise. And on the exhale, as we take the arms down, circle out the wrists a couple of times. Yeah. Good. All right, that was fun. Let's take a few hula hoops. And then we'll take it the other direction. Good. So let's do the same thing in chair pose that we did before. So we'll keep a little bit of space. Bend the knees, bring the hips back, but not too deep quite yet. Hands on the top of the pelvis. Do your cat-cow and then stay in the middle. Yeah? Stay there. Press down through the heels and press apart through the heels. Let's keep that as you gently dig the fingers into the front of the hips to go deeper. Yeah, once you find your position, once again, press down through the heels, out through the heels, hands come to prayer. Good. Let's actually do this. Take the arms back, turn the palms of the hands forward, engage through the upper back, and then counter that a little bit by pulling the front ribs in slightly. Yeah, let's inhale. On the exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Halfway up we lengthen. And then down we come, stepping the left leg back, knee to the floor. You choose if the toes are tucked under or straight back. And once you have your spot figured out, we'll come up and just put the hands onto the hips again. Yeah. Now in this position, if your toes are straight back, press down through the center of the shin. And then everybody lift up through the low belly. So we've got kind of a down and an up happening at the same time. Let's inhale, arms up to the sky. Stay for the exhale, hug in through all sides of the waist. Inhale again, let it go a little bit. And now on the exhale, we find a slice turn. Right arm comes down and back, turn to the right. Elbows can be a little bent. Inhale to undo, and we're facing the front. Let's take that same thing twice more. Great. Next time the arms are up, we'll come down, hands to the floor or to the blocks. Pivot the back foot a little bit to the right. Right forearm to right thigh. Left hand either on the top of the pelvis or on the waist, wherever you are is fine. Now on this right side, very gently, press arm and leg into each other. Yeah. Keep that. And think of lengthening the right side of the waist, and then turning the right ribs towards the ceiling without letting the front knee knock in. Now let's take the back arm back. Little half circle, we slice down and then out, finding this knee down variation of side angle, which I like because you get a little more inner thigh stretch than we do in the other version. Good. All right, so I'm going to change the order a little bit. Let's come down. Reset the back leg, tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee. We'll do this part first. Lengthen the torso. Right hand to the outer thigh, press arm and leg into each other, and then lengthen again through the torso. Right arm can stretch back. I meant left arm if you're with me. And then the same arm can come forward. But if that's no good, keep the arm down. Yes. It's work, but it's good work. And then down comes the hand, down comes the other hand, down comes the back knee. Take whatever you want here to let it go, maybe back and forth a few times. whatever you need to do here. All right, and then let's pause with the front knee bent. Tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee. Same thing as before. So I'm gonna do plank on the blocks. You could join me or do without the blocks. So here we go, finding your position. Collarbones broaden. Hug in through all sides of the waist as we find a little lift. Tiny bend in both knees, tiny bend in both elbows, and point the elbow tips towards the knees. Yeah, pull the knees a little forward. Yeah, great. And then let's keep doing that until the knees come down. Go into child's pose here, and if you want to try this, you can drape the forearms over the blocks and just let the wrist be at the edge there and the fingers hang down. Sometimes that feels nice. Give a little traction for the arms, maybe a little wobble. Alrighty, friends. Let's come down again onto the belly, and we'll do a few prone back bends. All right, so from your position here, let's stretch the arms back alongside you. For the moment, have the backs of the hands to the floor. And then lift the front of the shoulders away from the floor so the collarbones broaden. You can have a light bend in the elbows. And then lower down. Forehead can either rest on the floor or you could hover, whatever feels best. So let's do that a few more times. The front of the shoulders lift away from the floor. The upper back is engaged. And then down we come. Let's do that again and add on. So the front of the shoulders lift. Stay there. Move the chest forward as we lift a little more. Be sure the head is off the floor here. And then let the arms hover and turn the palms of the hands towards the body. Thumbs face the floor. Draw back through the fingertips. And then think of the pinky side of the hand, that whole arm lifting a little bit more. Good. Down we come. Turn the face to one side. Take a little wobble. And then from here, friends, we'll end up back in downward facing dog. We won't stay for too long. It's really just a transition point. Yeah. All right. And then from your dog, let's meet in standing forward fold. Little bend in the knees. Press into the heels to come up. Inhale to stand. Exhale. The arms down. Looking good. So next we'll head into a few balance on one leg positions. And before we do that, let's be on two legs and we'll just hula hoop a little bit. Keep a slight bend in the knees and let there be some good movement in the ankles. Excuse me. Take the other direction. Yeah. So in a second, we'll pick up a leg and hold on to it like this. If that's no good for you, you can pivot, you can have the toe on the floor, or you could put the foot on a chair or on a block or something if that's better for you. So let's go ahead and get there. I'll mirror you. The right leg comes up, and the left hand for now, just keep it on the hip there, and press the sole of the left foot down into the floor. Lift up through the belly as that happens. Yeah. Let's take the left arms in front with a little bend in the elbow. And on the inhale, open the arm, open the leg. On the exhale, contract through the waist as you bring the arms back and the leg back to center. Let's do that a few more times. Now, if you're doing the pivot, you could do something like this instead. Foot is on the floor. And for anybody, if balance is feeling pretty good and you want more challenge, you can turn your head to follow the moving arm. Yeah. Every time you exhale, contract a little through the waist to come back to center. Good. And then we'll return to middle. Let's release the leg down and just pause for a sec. Okay. It's time for a side two. So right leg is the base, left leg comes up. And then let's press firmly down through the sole of the foot. Take the right arm in front with a little bend in the elbow. And then on the inhale, we open the arm, open the leg. Exhale, contract through the waist as the arm and leg come back in. So take that a few more. Inhale is open, exhale is close. If balance is feeling fine and you want more, let the head move with the arm. I almost lost it. Yeah. All right, guys. Next time we're in the front again, let's pause and just release and just stand. Yeah. Okay. So next we'll take similar, but this one will be a twist. I'll show. So we'll be here, and we'll actually inhale to be in the center, and then use the exhale to find the twist, and the inhale to come back to center. Same thing on the exhale, we find that condensing through here as we turn. Ready? Let's do it. So the left leg is the base, the right leg comes up, and then the right arm is just here. So we inhale. And then as we exhale, we find the turn. And on the inhale, we face the front. Take that one a few more times. I'll recommend a little bend in the elbow the whole time. And you might not get too far in the twist, and that's okay. Good. Next time we're back in the center, let's pause. Release the leg. And we'll head in the side too. So right leg is down, left leg is up. Right hand to left leg, left arm in front. Inhale. Exhale, we narrow the waist as we turn and open. Inhale to center. Taking a couple more, just like that. All right, friends. Let's head back to the center. Release the leg. And we'll stand in our mountain pose and just be still for a moment. All right, friends. The eyes are closed, blink them open. We'll head to the front of the mat and we'll somewhat repeat the sequence we did before, but this time the back knee will be off the floor instead of down. And if you need to keep yours down, totally fine. We'll be briefly in lunge with the arms down, so you might want the blocks there. So this time, if you'd like for chair, if you want to have the feet closer, you can. For me, that doesn't feel great in the hips, so I usually like to keep a little bit of space. You do you. Let's inhale the arms up. On the exhale, narrow the waist, bend the knees, bring the hips back. Utkatasana. Inhale to stay. And then on the exhale, forward fold, lift the hips, lower the head. Inhale is our halfway lift. And now on the exhale, step the right leg back, setting up for lunge. Now from here, we'll bend the back knee a little bit. And then on the inhale, take the arms and torso up. On the exhale, bend the back knee a little more. Left arm slices down and back. Turn the chest left for a twist. Inhale to undo. We face the front. If you want to go straighter in the back leg, you can. Exhale, we rebend, turn, and twist. Inhale to center. Let's do last one here. And now when we face the front, we're in the center, little transition. Lift the pelvis a little bit so you can turn the back heel down, and we'll open to warrior two, and you might need to adjust your positioning a little bit. From here, let's take the back hand of the hip, deep in the front hip crease. We come forward to come down, either forearm to thigh, or you can take the arm down to the floor to the block here. Now in this position, have a little peek at the left knee. We want it to point directly forward. We don't want it to angle in. Yeah, if it is angling in, make a little adjustment. And then without disturbing that, can you take the ribs and turn them towards the ceiling? Yeah, let's stretch the right arm back. And then take that little half circle down and then up. One more time, turn the ribs towards the ceiling without letting the front knee come with. Yeah, stay here, press down and back through the back heel. One long line on the whole right side of the body. And then to get out, look down at the floor, release the arms, spin the back heel up, and then bend the back knee, go straighter in the front leg. And let's switch. So do that a few times back and forth. The back knee will stay off the floor. And then let's pause here and just take a slow motion tail wag with the back knee bent and the front leg straight. Good. All right, friends. From here, let's rebend the front knee, lengthen the back leg, move the blocks if you're on them, or if you want to keep them for down dog, that's fine. We'll head into our downward dog. Yeah, let's take a little bit wider for this one. Yeah, good. And if it feels good to move the head around, feel free to do that. Yeah. And then let's lift the heels and set them back down. And do that a few times. And notice how when we lift the heels, everything wants to shift forward. See if you cannot do that. So lift the hips higher and keep the torso where it is. And then try to keep the hips as high as they are as the heels come back down again. Yeah, it won't really happen, but act as if you could. So we lift the heels up without shifting forward. And then we lower the heels down without dropping the hips down. Yeah, cool. All right, friends. From here, let's reset your stance so the feet are not quite as wide. Step forward, coming to the front of the mat. Just a half lift as a transition. And then down we come, left leg comes back to lunge. Take a second to just get there. And then the back knee will bend. Arms will reach back. On the inhale, we come into our high lunge. You can keep the back knee bent. And then on the exhale, bend it more. As we slice the right arm forward, down, and back, we turn and open. And then on the inhale, we come forward. If you want to straighten the back leg a little, you can. Do that a couple more times. So the exhale, we turn, we twist. The inhale, we rise and lift. And then last time here, once we're facing the front again, lift the pelvis a little, and then turn the back heel down. Set up to warrior two. Take a second to get there. The stance is a little different than it was in lunge. Take the back hand to the hip. Come forward to come down, forearm to thigh. Have a little peek at the front knee, and make sure the knee is pointing straight ahead. Yeah. From there, lengthen the right side of the waist. Turn the right ribs towards the ceiling without disturbing the front knee. Don't let it turn in. And then the top arm, we'll stretch it back, little half circle, down and then out. One more time, turn the ribs towards the ceiling. Press the back heel, down and back, lengthen, long through the left side of the body. Yes, friends. All right, to get out of this, look down at the floor, release the arms, turn the back heel up, and then back and forth we go, bending the back knee, straightening the front leg. The back knee stays off the floor for these. Good. And then let's pause at the back knee bend, little tail wag, just a little back and forth, back and forth. Good. And then we'll reset, downward facing dog. This time yogi's choice. If you want to go wide, you can. If you want to stay narrow, you can. You can add movement, you can be still. You decide. And then let's all take a little bit of a break. Come down to child's pose, release the knees, send the hips back, and let's have the forehead either on your own stacked arms or on a block. Or maybe all the way to the floor if that's comfortable. And just gently turn your head from side to side. Yeah, alrighty. From here, friends, let's return upright, just coming to sit. And we'll swing the legs around. If you need to be sitting on something in order to neutralize the pelvis, you can. If you're rolling back, go get something to sit on. And then from this position here, let's do this. I'll mirror you. Left leg is just bent down on the floor. Right knee is bent up. And we'll do an open face twist. So turn left. Take the right arm to the inside of the leg. And then two things you're using the arms. Press the back hand down and use that to help sit you up. And then on the right side, very gently press arm and leg into each other, but don't overdo that. So don't really crank it. Yeah. We'll undo the twist, but keep the arms for a second. And then reach the right arm down and see if you can hold on to the outside of the foot. If that doesn't work, hold on anywhere else. Pick up the right leg and just start to move it around any which way. It's okay if everything else moves too here. And then let's pause and do a little kind of a bow and arrow, forward, back and forth. Yeah, and then let's pause, sit up tall, draw the shin across so the leg rotates. And see my foot here, we want the foot to be aligned. We don't want the foot to turn in like that, no sickling. So let's keep that, sit up tall, and then we'll rock our little sweet little leg baby, little Gustavo here. This is baby Gustavo Asana, is the name of this pose. Now in a second, we will come down. I think most of you have done this little sequence with me. So there's a few ways you could go with it. You could go Agni Stambhasana, where the shins stack upon each other, or you could come back to Sukhasana with the shins, one in front of the other, or there's another one called Gomukhasana, where the knees come one on top of the other. So any of those are fair game. I'm going to just do Sukhasana for today. And before we do anything extra, just for a sec, lift the pelvis and scooch it back and then come down again so the pelvis angles a little forward. We'll slide the hands up, thumbs into the hip creases. Press down, create a little anchor as we lift up. That's it. Some of you will just stay. Some of you will hinge forward. Some of you will take the arms forward. Yeah? Now, if you're in the shins stacked or the shins crossed position, can you press out a little through the heels? Activate your feet. If you're in the Gomukhasana with the knees stacked, you can let the feet relax. And then for anybody, coming forward might be wise, flat hands, fingertips, maybe a little movement. Great, friends. To get out, let's walk the hands back and just very gently undo the legs. Whatever situation you're in, we'll release that. You can give them a little shake. Asana. And then setting up our second side, the right leg is down, the left leg is up, and we're fairly open for this one, yeah? Turn to your right, left arm and leg find each other, right hand presses into the floor, and use the right hand pressing down to stay lifted in the torso, so we don't want to collapse here. And now, I should have said this before, if you're on a blanket, you might need a block under the hand if you're a little higher up. Now on the left side, very gently press arm and leg into each other. Don't overdo that, it's just a little bit. Yeah. Okay, we unwind. And then if you can, take the arm down and hold the outer foot. If that's not a good grip for you, just hold on anywhere else. And we'll circle out the leg. And then let's do our back and forth, bow and arrow. Yeah, and then we'll pause here. Sit up tall again. Draw the shin across. And then here we get to rock our sweet little, this one's Kermit on the second side. Little Kermit. It's a shame, like Kermit is such a great name, but you really can't name your kids that anymore because, you know, Kermit the Frog and all. Alrighty, let's come down and then we'll either take this same pose you did on the first side unless you need to bail. And if that's you, then you take Sukhasana. Yeah? Let's lift the hips, scooch them back, come down so you end up a little more tilted forward in the pelvis. Thumbs to the hip crease, press down as we lift up. And then hinge forward if that's appropriate. If not, stay upright. And then if it's appropriate to take the arms out, you can. If you're in cross-legged or stacked shins, press out a little through your heels. If you're in the other one, don't do that. You can relax the feet. Oh, and then maybe you add in some movement here, a little rock or not. And then if you came forward, let's come upright. Undo your legs. Let's give them a little stretch, give them a little wiggle. And then after all of this hip flexion, we'll come onto the back. We'll do a few hip extension poses to go the other direction. So let's come on down, and for the moment, just take some windshield wipers here. Any pace, any style. You could do fast or slow or medium, big or small. Yeah, and then we'll start with a few bridge variations, and we'll actually just begin with the arms. So this one will be fine for everybody, and then some of you will want to bridge up, some of you won't. Totally up to you. Let's reset your legs so the feet are about hips width distance apart, knees pointing up to the ceiling. Bend the elbows, fingers point up to the ceiling. And now on the inhale, press the backs of the arms into the floor, shoulder blades into the back, and you'll create a little lift. And on the exhale, just back off a bit from them. So let's do that a few times. Inhale, we press, we find a little lift. And exhale to back it off. Now let's do one more time with that. And then your choice, you could stick with this, keeping the hips on the floor, or you could press down and let the hips lift up. Yeah. Now, if you're in the up hips position, press down a little more through the backs of the arms and see if you can tuck the shoulder blades under you a little bit more here. That's it. Press straight down through the heels. Yeah. And then a few arm variations. You could stay with the robot version. You could straighten the arms, hold the sides of the mat, and tug apart. I kind of like that version. Or you could interlace the fingers behind the back. Yeah. So wherever you are, we'll just hold for a moment. When you are ready to come out, let's undo the arms, untuck the shoulders, and then just slowly roll yourself back down, one little piece at a time. That's it. And then once you get there, we'll take the right knee in, left leg long, and take a twist. Bringing the right leg over to the left. Any amount is fine. Think about making a little space on the right side of the waist, bringing the right hip and shoulder away from each other. Yeah, and then let's come back to center. We'll change it out. So the left leg comes in, the right leg goes long, and then over we come, taking left leg to the right. And see if once you get there, you can make a little more space on the left side of the body, more space between the hip and the armpit there. Now let's return to center. And just for a sec, hug both knees in, and you could stay kind of tight and compact, or if you wanted to do more like a happy baby, you could take the feet wider. And in either of those poses, a little side to side might feel kind of nice. Yeah, we're almost in Shavasana, but let's just do a little thigh press here. So we'll set the feet back down on the floor, knees are bent, and then press the hands straight ahead into the legs and try to stay close to the hip creases there. All right, and we'll release and head into Shavasana, our final resting pose. Of course, take whatever props that you need to be comfortable. And as we settle into Shavasana here, bring your attention to the belly and see if you can let the belly just be as soft, as relaxed as it could possibly be. The belly rise and fall as you breathe without trying to control it or direct it. Let that softness through the belly move into the rest of the front of the body. Chest, face, all around your eyes. Begin to deepen your breath. And just take a little bit of movement anywhere at all. When you're ready, you can bend up the knees, roll to one side. From there, we'll come upright to sit. Hands at heart center. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.